See, it's no longer enough to just say, what do you bring to the table? Because they already think they are the table. No. Sell me on why you're a good fit for my wife. Sell me on why I should propose to you. Sell me on why you should be hired to be the woman with me forever. What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. I'm going to get right into it because you guys know what I do when I jump on this camera. I get in the kitchen, I get cooking. Today's no different. Gentlemen, I was observing a channel the other day. If I'm not mistaken, it was Lapeef Let's Talk Network. And it was one of the concepts in regards to marriage, if men should do it, why it's not, an ideal situation, why it's not appealing nowadays. And it got me thinking, why hasn't the structure of marriage changed? If everything else is modernized, if we can order our food online, if we can book our flights online, if we can order a vehicle from our phone, why hasn't some of the practices when it comes to marriage, relationships, and all those things comprised changed? Now, I'm not saying that we need to modernize it and put it on an app. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that the dynamics have shifted. And the main reason is because now we have a completely different set of social rules. What are those rules, you may ask? Some of them are things like women are making their own money. Who plays what role? Because there was a time, and I wasn't alive, and I don't know if you were alive, maybe you were, maybe you weren't, but there was a time that when a man proposed to a woman, he knew exactly what he was getting. He knew exactly what was gonna take place. She knew exactly what was gonna take place. And they went down their own merry way, married, working it out. Those days are over, gentlemen. We're in a completely different society. We're dealing with a completely different set of women. I heard one of the gentlemen on the podcast say last night that women have not changed. And I wanted so bad to call in. I wanted so bad to jump on. But I wasn't able to make it on this panel this time. So I figured I'd talk about it. Women have changed. And men that are really in the world dealing with it understand this more than anything. Some of the guys that were saying that women haven't changed have men that's been married 15, 20 odd years. So I can understand why they would say that. But for those who are not aware, I'm here to tell you, women have changed. The dynamics are completely different. Now, I've always been of the mind that I think a woman that works, makes her own money, potentially brings a contribution to the household is awesome. I'll welcome that. But that's not the issue. See, the issue is that with this new development of women making money, they want to now have a certain level of voting rights. They want to have a certain level of authority. They want to have a certain level of setting the rules and the flow of the household. Therein lies the problem. See, if we're going to operate modern, if we're going to operate from a place of what's current, then we need to, as men, sit down with these women, whether it's a forum, whether it's one-on-one, and figure out how do we do relationships now? Because see, a lot of what I see happening is that you have old rules and old societal expectations being blended with modern society expectations. For example, like back in the day, you could expect that if you were going to meet a woman, deal with a woman, she was probably only dealing with you and you only. That's no longer the case. These women are more promiscuous. They're more masculine. They're more vulgar. They're more tainted. They come with a series of issues. So that got me thinking, as a modern man, as a man of today, as a millennial myself, why would I present the same traditional union of marriage to classes of women that don't act as classy women? Makes no sense, right? Doesn't. And I think that the conversations need to start happening, that women need to be very, very clear on what it is that they're willing to contribute, willing to offer, and what men are getting. And oh, don't get it twisted, men, because I'm coming for you and your accountability too. Men need to be more vocal about what it is that that particular woman deserves from him. You want me to paint the picture? You want me to go ahead and carve it out? I will. I will lay it out for you. Do I pay all the bills? If I make this amount of money and you make this amount of money, are you contributing at the same amount? Do you have kids? If you have kids, okay. Well, do I pay for those kids that are not mine? Are you going to take your money and pay for those kids? Do you expect me to take care of college if we're together that long? If you have a house and I have a house, do we rent your house out, move into my house, vice versa? You know, there needs to be things that are carved out. There needs to be things that are discussed because, you know, there's no direction. There's not enough conversation happening. You know, past the attraction, past the fact that you're feeling her, there needs to be an understanding that, sweetie, if you spent your life being overly promiscuous, being an OnlyFans girl, you know, participating in certain activities, guess what? By default, by your choice, you don't get the same level of treatment or the same package that a woman that kept her virtue or a woman that carried her life in a more classy way gets. Now, are you man enough to do that though? And see, that's what I want to see. Because it was one of the things that actually took place on the podcast is that there was men arguing this point as well as women, but men arguing this point saying that men need to stop being scared. I didn't know men shamed other men like that, but I guess it's a thing. Men need to stop being scared. Men need to man up. You know, don't be worried about no divorce. You know, if you a man, you gonna handle yours. That's stupid. That's improper information in my opinion. I wouldn't expect men who are married or have been married to give advice to men who are not married as blanketed as just do it and figure it out along the way. That's foolish. That's not how you go by learning. That's not how you gather wisdom. And that's not how you apply real world knowledge to become successful, in my opinion. I believe what needs to happen is that men now, dealing with women now, need to be a lot more direct in what it is that they're willing to sign up for. That's right, men. Because I will tell you that a part of the problem is that men are allowing women who want to do all of these things, who want to be promiscuous, get all these tattoos, be vulgar, be masculine. And then the men come along because she may be halfway cute or got a big booty. And then they're like, oh, well, you know, okay, well, she is a female. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, she fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and act like a gentleman. You know, I'm going to get them buns. And then later on, I'm going to go ahead and hold her accountable. No, you men need to hold them accountable from jump. The reason why women are so delusional, the reason why they're so lost in their thought process is because half of the time they don't understand through real life experience. Because don't get it twisted, gentlemen. Don't think for one moment they're not hearing you or listening. No, what the battle is an internal one. See, they can't wrap their mind around. Men are saying this. You got everybody from Kevin Samuels to True Table to MTR to, you know, Darius M, so on, so forth, saying some of the same things. But that's not the life they're living. Do you want to know why? Because these women wake up every single day and have inbox messages and DM messages and hearts and emojis and proposals from you suckers that are out here pandering because you are so caught up on the fact that she got hips and dips. And no, Men now, if they want to see a change, because that is one of the things that was being mentioned on the podcast, how do we change it? One of the guys suggested that men need to opt out of marriage completely. Not only opt out of marriage completely, opt out of marriage, take the power that is marriage away from women, and then eventually change the marriage laws. I'm inclined to agree with him. But that's going to take some time. That's going to take some practice. That's going to take some meetings. That's going to take some legislation. That's going to take, some effort. Not impossible. It can be done. But on top of that, there are things that men can do right now in their immediate life today to decide I'm no longer going to participate in the attention, in the dating, in the exchange that is me to women, unless it's to my benefit, unless it's to what I want specifically. No longer do men need to operate from a place of desperation, because that's a part of the problem as well. You got too many men who are carrying their interactions with women from the place of just trying to get to the end goal. And the end goal not being necessarily relationship. The end goal not necessarily being marriage. The end goal being, getting some, busting a nut. That's the extent of what most men are focused on. Now, gentlemen, do I understand how important it is to relieve yourself? Absolutely. Do I understand how exciting it is to conquer a new one? Absolutely. But what is it worth? What is that worth? And that's what men need to start asking themselves. Because when you're a gentleman like myself and gentlemen like you, I'm sure, when you get enough women, when you've interacted with enough women, you start to, in my opinion, it stops becoming as enticing. It's not the same thrill, and there's a way that I believe men need to graduate to the thought process that is not so short-sighted. There's sayings about this, gentlemen. You don't turn a hoe into a housewife. She belongs to the streets. All this stuff, right? But even with those sayings, and even with the warning signs, for every woman that is marked the hoe or the streetwalker or whatever, there are still tens of thousands, if not millions of men who, if given the opportunity, would show that particular woman attention, a good time, financial contribution, and so on and so forth. So it got me thinking, do we hold the women accountable solely? No. We hold the men accountable, because it won't stop until men decide that they're no longer going to give away the one commodity that every single woman wants: attention. It is their currency. It is the commodity. It is the driving force. It is what motivates them. And men need to know how to go about giving as well as retrieving, rewinding that attention. Everything should be earned. Everything should be earned. So, as I land this plane and come to the conclusion of this broadcast, forgive me. If marriage is something that men want to continue to do, and I applaud it and support it if that's what you want to do, then I believe that the conversation behind it needs to change. See, it's no longer enough to just say, what do you bring to the table? Because they already think they are the table. No. Sell me on why you're a good fit for my wife. Sell me on why I should propose to you. Sell me on why you should be hired to be the woman with me forever. That sound crazy? It may to most guys. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, if it makes you throw back like, oh, nah, D, like you had me up to that point, but I couldn't do that, then that means that you haven't arrived at this place that I want for all men that listen to this channel and other channels alike. You should have that confidence. You should look at it from just that point. Any woman that's lucky to be with me is lucky, fortunate, blessed to be with me. And if I'm going to take on a wife, then she should be able to answer those questions to my liking, no hesitation, and have an adequate argument. And it should be more than just the fact that she exists. It should be more than just the fact that she'll support whatever ventures that you have going on. She needs to present you with the package that is the asset, that is her life. And it needs to sound good, look good, and be proven on top of anything. Anyway, that is what I wanted to talk about today. For those who hung out with me today, I appreciate it. Thank you for continuing to, assist me in the growth of my channel. I'm gonna continue to do this. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. For those new subscribers that join the True Table family, I appreciate it. You've made a good choice. I'm gonna continue to bring this content, and you guys take care.